You're listening to the Live Out Loud podcast with River Wynn and Michelle Flamer.
Hi, Michelle.
Well, hello.
So for our listeners, today I have a special co-host. Her name is Michelle Morganti, right? Did I say it right?
Michelle with two L's. Yes, ma'am.
You're Michelle with two L's. And we've been really good friends since the minute we connected via LinkedIn. Like we kind of knew each other and who each other was through the natural products phase. You work for one of the best CBD companies on the globe, in my opinion, because I've tried a lot of them. And we'll totally put the link to your company in the podcast notes so people can check it out if they want to buy any CBD. But I'm super jazzed, and it's 5:55 on the clock right now. And I'm really, really jazzed. But let's take a second, because of what's going on with Israel, and just take a moment to send, hashtag Israel strong, sending love. And it's just really shitty what's going on over there. Yeah. All right. Sending love. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's tell people how we met first, or how we figured out a very interesting, beautiful, mystical way that we came about. It's just really cool.
And it is a crazy, crazy connection. Yeah.
Platonic soulmates 100% with a spiritual guide from the other side who helped us get to each other.
Yeah. We, like you had mentioned, Michelle, we were connected on LinkedIn. I had sent you some CBD products. We just, kind of got in that space and we're just talking. And then one day, as we got to know each other and our friendship grew, you had said, hey, you were telling me a story about how you used to play rugby. And it was about, I think it was 10 years before I played. But you were like, yeah, I played on UCLA's club side team. And I said, no way. And you said, yeah, my mentor was this, basically this woman named Senior. And I won't say, her full name, but I'll just say her nickname. And so Senior, and we're just talking, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And all of a sudden realizing that 10 years prior, when you were playing on the UCLA rugby team, you had the same mentor. I followed up about 10 years later, I played for UCLA's club-side rugby team and had the same exact mentor because she had continued to play.
Hence sadly, the nickname Senior. I mean,
my God, she was amazing.
A force.
She was just incredible. But what had happened is, tragically, she died on the pitch. I believe it was 2002. Mm-hmm. But the crazy thing is I strongly believe that, again, she's looking over both of us and basically was put into our lives to connect us. And I'm so blessed and so grateful to have you as a friend in my life. And you brought, nothing but joy. And I do credit Senior every day for that, for that connection, because there's no way it would have happened any other way.
It's so crazy. And and I mean, and to our credit, we have done such a good job at forging our friendship forward in such a safe, just lovely space. Like, I am so grateful for you as well on so many fronts. And it's just so freaking awesome. And another thing that sort of ties us in this moment, and what we're going to talk about today, is just that growth mindset. And you and I really dig into growth, all the time. We just love it. It's just who we are. And I think it'll be fun to sort of share with people who are sort of enjoy and follow on Instagram, who we might enjoy reading some of the authors that we enjoy and some of those books. But I think I think this friendship has legs, we're going to be friends for life. So it's so cool.
Absolutely. It's so, I mean, it's so awesome when you find friends like that. And that's one thing within the growth mindset, and that we're going to be discussing too, is like the biggest thing is finding your community and your people on this journey with you. So your friends, your other friends might not be, if you want to do something a little woo-woo or a little off, you might not have every single one of your friends might not be, on that same path as you, but definitely finding your community and your people and sharing things. Like we share motivational stuff, every time we come across something, whether it's on Instagram or via email, keeping each other accountable and, sharing free and cheap, like networking events or yoga stuff, or like, it's all about sharing. I think it's all about sharing and finding your tribe of people that are on that journey with you.
I know, it's like, it's funny because I mean, we probably do speak in memes and 80s silliness, because you're my queen for for all the 80s flashback stuff. Like it cracks me up, but it really is, it's awesome. So yeah, I think I kind of like to look at life in a way of and you could look at like our own life, and we have like a sphere, and then there's like slices of pies, right? How you kind of look. And I like to have diversity. Like when you run a company, you want to look at how to diversify. When you're in the financial realm, you look at how like you want to diversify, right? Like a little bit in real estate, a little bit in your hedge funds, a little bit in your bank account savings. And so with growth, I kind of look with my people, like, there's people for spiritual growth, there's people for business growth, there's friends for, and I just love that a lot of my friends, there's that crossover in those slices of pie. But one thing that I know that I can always count on is you and I can literally just talk about everything. I mean, when I was selling my house, I went to you for a lot of that stuff and just helping guide me, so that I was like, does this look right? Does this sound right? And it's just nice to have sounding boards that, genuinely that that this person cares so much about you, they don't want to let you fall.
Yeah. I'd love to hear a little bit about, I know you asked me too about my growth journey. I want to hear about yours, but I'll just tell you a little bit about mine as well.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, growing up, I've always been interested, in sports. I always wanted to be the best I could be. I was constantly trying to, just better myself. And then I think after that, after college, I went into a phase of really wanting to learn more about myself. So I think one of the biggest things at that time, and at one of my jobs, was Strength Finders. It's a book by, Tom Rath, I believe. And that book is awesome. You take a little quiz, it tells you your top 5 strengths. And I've literally used those strengths throughout my life, probably the last 20 years. That was a big one for me. But, other people do the Myers-Briggs stuff and the personality tests, and really, just playing to your strengths, Marcus Buckingham. But I think what happened is you kind of get lost again. You go through these phases, like you said. So maybe about 10 years later, a decade later, they say when the universe whispers really quietly until it gets louder and louder, and then it slaps you in the face. And I think what I'm trying to say is there's patterns that come. And I really, whether it's through trauma, loss, heartbreak, anxiety, a lot of those patterns just kept resurfacing. And I was like, I kept getting burned. And I was like, this has to stop. Like, I've got to, really dig deeper into this. So I would say the past 5 years has really been a lot more growth mindset for me, just really digging into books and podcasts and childhood wounds. That's a big keyword these days, attachment styles, and really just doing all that to become the best person that I can be.
I love that. I mean, I think at the end of the day, and in this life, like we're living this life for right now, and it's very short-lived when you think about thousands and thousands of years it took, for the earth to become what it is at the moment. And this is such a blip, and we can either stand still, or we can go with the flow, or we can push through and like level up, and so, I kind of keep saying this. And of course, today we're recording this on 10/10, which is a really powerful energy day. And it's one of those things where, again, it's like you're either awake or you're not. You either want to grow or you don't. And if you're stuck and you want to grow and you don't know where to start, hopefully our list will maybe help open some doors, or maybe who we're following on Instagram, if you don't follow them yet, and maybe you start with one, baby step it. I think, Michelle, would you say you're kind of the queen of baby steps?
Yeah. Change, not a big, I'm not the biggest fan of change, but I know it's, it's there. I have to do it. So
Well,
I have my friends and community to lean on. And
I know, where I'm literally like, do you see my feet? Because they're already over the ledge. Like I just leap into the unknown and just trust that everything's going to be okay. And
you leap and I dip my big toe in the water. I'm like, nope, not ready.
But I like that, when we have a friendship like this, you're like, are you okay? You're like looking like, did you land okay? Like, or did you break your head? You're like, you're just there to make sure that I'm not dead, basically. So let's start with some books or some authors that you really like.
Yeah. Okay. I can do that. I have my little stack. So a little bit about me and my reading style. I don't really do a whole lot of Audible. I know audiobooks and Audibles are super popular. And I think actually they're great for road trips or if you're stuck in traffic. But I think there's something to be said about just sitting down and having, the book in front of you.
That tactile feeling and smell of the pages.
But I don't necessarily finish one book. I kind of skip around, which, not everybody does as well. But so the ones that I have here, I'm looking at.
No, I think there's a lot of people that have 5 books next to their bedstand like I do.
Oh, good.
And they're not all completed. Like they're like, I have highlight in there and notes, but yeah, I think a lot of people just sort of go. River, however, reads super fast. And I'm in awe of that. And I wish I had that skill because I would just love to be able to take it in faster.
Yeah. And also self-help books, there's, they're not super entertaining. I think they take a little bit of a different mindset too. So maybe I try to tell myself, let me read consistently 10 minutes a day. If I want to do more, great. But let's just shoot for 10 and, call it a day and make sure that we just get some of that in. So I would say the ones that I have right now that I'm looking at, some of my favorites are Lighter by Young Pueblo.
God, I love him. And following him on Instagram too, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, he's great. And it's basically let go of the past, connect with the present, and expand the future. A lot of really good tidbits. And again, a lot of these books that I have are about becoming your best self, looking into your childhood wounds, breaking patterns, because that's the work that I'm doing right now. So it might not be a fit for everybody, but that book's phenomenal.
So relevant.
Yeah. The Origins of You, Vienna, Pharaon. And
let me see the cover.
Yeah, we'll put those in the
oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we'll put those in the notes, but it's how breaking family patterns can liberate the way we live and love. So yeah, really deep diving. And she's on Instagram as well, Mindful MFT. And she's got some really good gems. And then the last one that I have is Becoming the One. And it's a founder of Rising Woman. Awesome book. Highly recommended. It's Heal Your Past, Transform Your Relationship Patterns, and Come Home to Yourself.
God, that looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. So my journey into self-help and growth happened around when I think I was 12. My mom has quite the library behind our couch in the living room because she still lives in the house I grew up in. So, but the books have changed over the years. Like, we've done a big donation, or the 94 earthquake wiped a lot of it out. But I used to read some of these self-help psychology books from the 70s, like author named Leo Buscaglia. And he was writing all about love and being your best self and things like that, but really like obscure, it was like my mom was just into all that stuff, and I think I just started that at a young age. I will say that my dad was a voracious reader, and he was a fast reader too, but he liked everything. And then my brothers and we all share that growth mindset as well. So it's been a lifelong pursuit of constant becoming. And some of the folks that I really enjoy, like David Goggins, You Can't Hurt Me, like that book changed my life during COVID. Like that thing just motivated me like nobody's business. Any book from Simon Sinek, I mean, Leaders Eat Last, like I love that book. James Clear, Atomic Habits, super classic business, business mindset. John Maxwell, I really love. I mean, you kind of can't go wrong these days with some of those books, and I listen on Audible, but I also love reading a book. Like I love taking it to the pool or taking it on, just sitting and reading is just, it feels like a timeout. Like, wow, I'm actually making time for this. And then a great book that I really enjoyed was it's called Attachments, and it's working on the attachment styles and stuff. So I kind of go in between business growth and then like whatever my own personal focus is. So that's really fun.
That's funny you mentioned so Simon Sinek, amazing, but he also has TED Talks. A lot of these people the books that we read and that we follow have all these other channels. So like Young Pueblo has an email. James Clear is Atomic Habits has like a daily email that I subscribe to, and that's just these constant reminders that keep you in the zone of what you're working on. Like again, there's so many avenues, right?
You're right. I mean, you can absolutely get tiny bites. The cool thing on TED, and I haven't looked in a bit, but you can actually click on a drop down how many minutes you want the TED Talk to be. So if you would literally have only 10 minutes, you can drop down for 10 minutes, either on the app or online, and it'll pull up a whole slew of really short TED Talks that maybe you just want a snippet to just start the day off with your cup of coffee, and you don't have a lot of time in the day. But I think there's always ways that we can incorporate growth, like you said, through email subscriptions. And then again, being mindful of, we're going to get into Instagram next. And I just want to talk about social media for a second. You're in charge. We're in charge of our own social media, like, the stream, the feed itself. And if you're not being inspired by your social media, and let's take Facebook off because I don't think there's a lot of inspiration there. I mean, maybe there is, but Instagram, you can absolutely get granular and delete, unfollow, and only create what you like, curate what you want to see daily. Like for me, it's about all the national parks I follow because I just freaking love that. I follow people who hike a lot and share really great trails in maybe, from Arizona up to Oregon, and where I do road trips and things like that. And then all the people that I follow, like my friends who are awesome, and my people, and then as well as some of these folks that we'll talk about. So in social media, what do you tend to follow other than who we'll name?
I do follow the holistic psychologist.
Yeah, she's
love her.
Awesome.
I know you like her. We both love her. Yeah. Really good stuff there. Again, Young Pueblo, like he has some great, just I'm trying to think. It's what do you call them? Like just content, like great posts.
Quotables, I call it, kind of quotables, like food for thought.
Yeah, food for thought. I like that. Some things to think about that I'll just, scroll and I'll even save them or share them. Like that's again, just really good reminders. Do the work. Sabrina Zohar, she's fairly new, I believe.
Yep.
But it's also, she also has a podcast called Do the Work Podcast. And she is incredible. She has some great tips on attachment styles and dating, and just relationships in general. So
Agreed.
I feel like
She's also creating an app with her boyfriend, and it's a dating app curated.
tech guy.
Huh?
Her boyfriend's
Tech guy.
called Tech
Yeah,
Guy.
yeah, tech guy. And they're actually creating a whole app now based on what she talks about, something super intentional that not a lot of other apps can sort of touch in that sense. So she's being super intentional and mindful about how they're going to be doing that.
That's awesome. Yeah, Jillian Turecki is
Oh
another
yeah.
one. She's phenomenal. And then if I go into like you said, you have different spaces as well. If I go into health and wellness, or I'm a really big fan of biohacking. Look it up if you don't know what it means.
Me too.
But
Yeah, exactly.
it's awesome. Andrew Huberman is amazing.
Mhm.
Dr. Joe Dispenza, and just people. Dr. Molly Maloof is awesome. Really into that biohacking scene. So yeah, those are some of the.
I love that. I love how you take that holistic approach to what you look for. And it's funny, you can literally just hashtag whatever or search whatever and find out, who's in that space, like relationships, and then see who pops up. It's like you can search in Instagram. I am really loving Mark Groves.
He's great.
He is, and he has you can subscribe to his, because you actually, I know you already do. David Goggins, again, I just love filling my feed with his stuff because he just comes at it so sometimes I need that tough love. I love Luke Minded Power. I love him. He really is like an ass kicker for me. Mel Robbins, Brene Brown, of course, Glennon Doyle. All those.
We didn't get into the podcast yet, but those are that's our number one podcast. Like
it is.
Besides Live Out Loud.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, exactly. No, but no, I just mean in general, I think she always shares mindful things, and she's got a way with words. So yeah, what else podcast wise, what do you dig in these days too, other than a couple that you just mentioned?
We Can Do Hard Things is just it's definitely been a staple for me. But again, I rotate through depending on my mood and how much time I have. If I'm at the gym or if I'm on just a short walk. I really like, we already mentioned We Can Do Hard Things and Do the Work podcast. I really like Expanded.
Yeah, me too.
That's a really good one. And then Jillian Turecki has Jillian on Love, which is a good one. And then in the holistic space or the natural space, it's Mindbodygreen is awesome. And Rich Roll is awesome too.
Oh, Rich Roll's like one of my favorites. He is
great content.
Yeah, he's legit. 2-hour podcast, just deep dives with his sultry voice, like so calming. I love him. Mel Robbins. I like Good Inside with Dr. Becky, and it's like she focuses in on kids, but she was on We Can Do Hard Things. That's how I got introduced to her. Rich Roll, Lewis Howes. Do you like Lewis?
He's great. Oh, love him. Yeah.
How about On Purpose with Jay Shetty?
Jay Shetty, yes, absolutely.
And then for I love Expanded, Luke Mind Power again, Do the Work. And then Out of Our Minds. Have you checked that one out?
No, I haven't.
Okay, that's super fun. I'll share that with you. And then for more woo-woo, Aubrey Marcus. He gets really deep dive, like Gaia vibes, And then Gaia, I follow Gaia, but then do you have any fun ones that are just like ridiculously enjoyable every time?
I really, every once in a while, I think on road trips too, Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard is such a good one.
It is so enjoyable. The other ones that I love are if you have kids and they are real talkative sometimes on road trips, but you want something fun. It's called Out Alive from Backpacker, and it's true stories from the mountains, like from trails. Like some people get mauled by bears and stuff. Caden loves it. For the Love with Jen Hatmaker.
Jen Hatmaker's great.
That's really fun. But then my other fun ones are like Smartless with Jason Bateman, Sean Hayes, and Will Arnett.
I've heard that one's great. I need to check that one out.
Fantastic. Like for your walks down by, like when you just need to chill and like you don't want to do any more deep diving for your brain for the night. Like it's a really good one. And then the other fun one for me is new, and it's with Fortune.
I knew you were going to say this one. I was just about to
Handsome.
say it. Yes.
Yeah, Handsome with Tig Notaro, Fortune Feimster, and then Mae Martin, who I just love. And the newest episode, which I can't wait to listen to, is Neil Patrick Harris, who, hello, anything he does, I just love listening to him. So I'm sure that will be very cute. But yeah, I live to get more in my brain. It's like, I literally never get tired of it either. What exhausts you these days? Like what poops you out?
Oh no. I mean, just life. Adulting is hard. It's not easy. You got to work, you got to pay the bills, you got to put food on the table, take care of your kids. So I just think it's really important to take the time for you, make sure to carve out some you time. It's so important. And I think all of this stuff that we mentioned is so good. And there's some great gems, but I think that one thing I want everybody to know is that one meme or one post doesn't define you, or one book. Mm-hmm. It's just, adding to your tools in your tool belt, but it doesn't define you. So, I think that's just important to note, because sometimes you can get sucked into it and think, oh no, or this and that, but no, just use it as put another tool in your tool belt and try to become the best person that you can be. When I'm tired, I listen to my body. Like when I'm tired, I rest. Mm-hmm. I sleep. If I can, I just really try to be in tune with myself emotionally, physically, spiritually. I mean, I think we're all doing our best, right? We all do the best we can with what we have.
Oh, definitely. Is there anything on your bucket list through the end of the year? Like just anything that you want to accomplish?
I love networking. So I am going to a couple of just, obviously CBD networking events, through my company, and seeing if I can find any local seminars, that aren't too expensive. I don't have to take too much time off work. That might be growth oriented in one way or another. I like to just check what events are coming out. But really, I think my focus for the end of this year, besides, giving myself a little bit of extra love, is just being surrounded by people that love me, friends and family, and trying to travel as much as I can to see them. And yeah, I mean, I think just trying to stay grounded with some routines. Like I go for walks, and I'm not a big yoga I am a big yoga person. I'm not a big journaler or meditator. I know you are, but what works for me is just consistency and doing just little small things, not necessarily, listening to every podcast, reading every book, but just doing the little small things every day. Like I said, reading 10 pages a day, trying to get in a couple of walks a day. Mm-hmm. A lot of my best ideas actually come on my walks, which is super odd. So, or maybe it's normal. I don't know. But.
No, it's actually very, and I always get this wrong, EMDR or EDMR.
EMDR.
Because your body it's that biomechanic thing that's happening is you're walking and your eyes are traveling around, and that's what allows you to sort of get into the deep thoughts. That's what my therapist was telling me. And that's why when I hold these vibrating things in my hand, they pulse back and forth kind of like a walk. And it's so fascinating because I always said the same thing. Like when I hit a trail, the minute I start walking on a trail or even just outside, it's like the floodgates open up. Like it's just clear, like literally does clear your mind so that you can focus on, what's in front of you and what's important.
I mean, there's so much trauma, grief, loss, heartbreak, anxiety in this life, that it's so important to surround yourself with people that love you, and also love yourself equally, and give yourself grace.
Mhm.
Give yourself grace and patience, because you know, you will get through it. I know that's kind of cliche, but you know, you might never, what is the word?
And give yourself, like, ask your friends, like, who can I call in a moment's notice? Like, get an idea of, like, who will be there for text, who will be there for a phone call in a moment's notice. Like, I think it's really just important when you're building up your community, is setting those expectations and always asking for that, because sometimes we typically, especially us, like, we're very independent in many ways. And sometimes it's hard to ask for space. Like, I know you have a busy day, but, like, will you hold space for me? It's like, we both have had those phone calls, and sometimes we don't want to bug our friends, but sometimes we also really, like, if I heard you were upset afterward, I'd be like, why didn't you call me? Right? Like, and it's the same. So I tried to get out of my head and think, well, she did tell me to call her when I'm feeling low,
Yeah. And take advantage of that. And when you look back, like, when you look at just even our friendship, looking back, like, man, even from a year ago, like, you grow the most through all that shit. Sorry, but you do.
No, it's true.
You know, what is a common denominator? Like, most people, it, like, growth. That's where you have to go through. You have to go through all that dirty crap in order to, find the rainbow on the other side. Well, it's not all rainbows, butterflies, and ponies, but you know what I mean.
I have a question. Like, do you think you would be able to have done this last year by yourself? Like, do you think, or I mean, I know you have a lot of cool friends, but do you think you would be able to be here if you just did it by yourself?
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah. I don't know how people do it. Or maybe they don't. They're just faking it.
I don't know. I mean, I do have some friends that are introverted, but they still have their core group of people. So,
yeah. I mean, really, it's like, it's nuts. I literally don't know if I would be sitting here right now thriving if I didn't have, you and a handful of other amazing, badass fucking women.
Yeah, I consider myself, I've got such an amazing tribe, and that's definitely what keeps me going, friends and family. And so I do have one question for you, since we're probably close to the tail end of this. Since we're talking about influencers and podcasts and authors and everything, what is one person that you'd like to meet or sit down and have dinner with?
In this moment, I'd probably like to hang out with Sophia, do the work podcast.
Oh, so I think it's Sabrina.
Oh, Sabrina. Well, I don't know why I messed up her name. Sabrina.
She calls herself Zohar, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
She doesn't call herself, like, she doesn't say, "Hey, Sabrina." Yeah, no. She says, "Hey, Zohar."
Zohar. Yeah. So I probably would want to just have lunch with her.
Yeah.
I think she'd be really enjoyable.
She seems awesome. And I think she might be, well, I know she's in Southern California, so
she's in San Diego. I know. No, I might just I just might take her up on one of her one-on-ones. We chit chat a little bit over social, and whenever she has a live and I say hi, she's like, "Hi, Michelle." She's awesome.
That's awesome.
Who would you want to?
Oh gosh, that is also a tough one. But I think, again, in the moment right now, Abby Wambach is just, there is
a great one.
You talk about badass. Like, we were, I believe, born in the same year. I don't want to age myself here, but we both grew up playing sports, very similar family dynamics. I just feel like we have a lot in common, similar music. So I just feel like she'd be a really badass, powerful woman to hang out with, and with all of her connections and everything else. Like, I think she's incredible. So I would love hey, she might listen to this podcast one day, and same with Sabrina, and we might fish our wish.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I said to Sabrina, actually, I said, will you come on our podcast? And I said, what if I buy a one-on-one, an hour with you, and then we use the hour on the podcast? She goes, you can do whatever you want for that hour.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I know. I was like, because, she's valuable, and I don't want to just think anyone will come on here. We're growing steadily, and we're getting great feedback, and it's just fun, but it's that consistency. I think you were talking about, growing this podcast is just staying consistent, making sure that we launch a new episode, and publish it every Wednesday morning. And that's just what we're doing, and we'll see where it takes us. It's just super fun, and who knows, who we'll meet along the way and who will say yes. It's really fun asking folks to like join us, and then they say, oh my God, I would love to. And then it's like pinch me moments. Sometimes it's really, really cool. And today I'm having a pinch me moment because you're on here with me.
Thank you so
said
much
yes today. I'm really proud of you.
Yeah, I was a little nervous, but I know I did it. Here I am dipping my toe in the water.
I know, if you don't think about what's behind the scenes and you just focus on the conversation, it's good. But hey, I love you and I really appreciate you. And this was super fun. Will you come back?
I will, of course. I would be honored. Thank you, my sweet friend.
I know, it's so freaking fun. So have a awesome night, and we will talk soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode today, be sure to subscribe and share, because what do we say, baby?
Sharing is caring.